Hi everyone, my name is Tamid Saleh and welcome to this week's football debate. If you haven't already, then please do subscribe as I release weekly videos. Last week I talked about whether or not Virgil van Dijk deserves to win the Ballon d'Or this year and looked at some of his stats as well as stats from his closest rivals such as Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. If you haven't seen that video, I'll put a link somewhere up here and also in the description below. This week I want to talk about the Community Shield and its importance, as of course we have our first competitive match of the season this Sunday with Manchester City taking on Liverpool. I'll also be looking at the Premier League's top 6 teams and see whether or not I believe they've improved their squads with the transfer activity and the transfer season so far. Without further ado, let's roll the intro.
Here he is again. That's astonishing. It's absolutely wow. He's taken them apart.
I'd like to begin this video by talking about the Community Shield and also why many seem to view it as simply a glorified friendly. The fixture first took place in 1908, so it's been around for over 100 years, and it has had many variations to the format of who participates in it. The current format is that it is competed by the Premier League champions and the FA Cup champions. Of course, if one team wins both the Premier League and the FA Cup, then it's between the Premier League and FA Cup champion against the runner-up of the Premier League. This year it will be Manchester City, who of course won the Premier League and the FA Cup, against Liverpool, who came runners-up in the title race. The reason why many people don't put importance on the Community Shield is because managers and players in the past themselves have come out and said that it's not really important, it's not really a trophy. A lot of teams will use the Community Shield as like a last dress rehearsal to say for the upcoming Premier League season. They don't always field the best teams and they use some youngsters and just give them some match experience. Personally though, I feel like in recent years, managers like Conte and so on have come out, and Guardiola himself of course, and they've put an importance into winning the Community Shield. The way I see it, I don't see it as Community Shield, I see it as the English Super Cup. We of course have many European leagues that have their own Super Cup. So you have the Spanish Super Cup, the French Super Cup, Italian, you get the point. And I feel like people put more importance on those just because it's called the Super Cup and not the Community Shield or to say that. It still counts as a trophy in my eyes. I know many say it doesn't, but for me it's still a trophy. If you look at the way clubs on their websites or on their history boards or whatever, the way they put the trophies, they always include the Community Shield. We hear so many stories of Pep Guardiola winning this many trophies at Barca, or players even like Messi or Ronaldo winning so and so trophies. If you look at it, they're always including the Super Cups, the Spanish Super Cups. So why should it be any different in the English Super Cup? That is why I believe the Community Shield is very important, or at least in the bare minimum, it counts as a trophy. Another reason why the Community Shield is seen like a friendly is because it's played over 90 minutes like any match. However, instead of the 3 substitutes that you normally get in the Premier League or the Champions League, you get 6 substitutes. And also, if the 90 minutes ends with a draw, then it goes straight to penalties with no extra time. Personally, I feel the 6 substitutes, it kind of devalues the Community Shield. But at the same time, it's a tournament where, of course, many people are coming back either from holiday or from pre-seasons, so managers may like to change it up a bit. I'd like to now look at the 2 teams contesting this year's Community Shield. It's of course Manchester City and Liverpool. Liverpool are in it because they came runners-up in the Premier League last season, and may I add, what an amazing title race we had last season. Can we please have more of the same? If not more teams participating in it. It was just incredible what Man City and Liverpool achieved last season. 98 and 97 points. Liverpool did not win the league, even though they had the 3rd highest number of points accumulated ever in the Premier League's history. So that just goes to tell you how strong the competition Man City were last season. The only other season that Liverpool would have lost the league was the season before, where of course Manchester City accumulated 100 points. I think this year, in terms of the title race, we're going to have a similar title race between Liverpool and Man City as the strongest, but I'll come to that in a little bit. I want to focus on the Community Shield and also the pre-seasons both teams have had. So, Liverpool have won the Community Shield a total of 15 times. I'm including the ones where they shared the trophy, as was the case in previous years. But yeah, they've won it 15 times. However, their last Community Shield victory was, of course, in 2006. That is, of course, after they won the FA Cup under Benitez, after that penalties victory against West Ham. So yeah, they've not won the Community Shield since 2006. Of course, they've not played in many since they've not won the FA Cup or the Premier League title since. But I feel they're going into this tournament really, or well, I say tournament, it's really just a match, isn't it? They've got nothing to lose. I mean, as do Man City, they don't have anything to lose. But it'd be nice, I feel, for them to carry on winning trophies, as of course they've just recently won the Champions League. For Man City, they've won it 5 times. And the 2 most recent times was, of course, in 2012 and last year in 2018. So they are the defending champions. Looking at their pre-seasons, I mean, neither team have had great pre-seasons, but Liverpool's has been a bit worrying. So they lost to Napoli, they lost to Dortmund, and they also lost to Sevilla in pre-season. They did beat Lyon 3-1. However, I must say, considering these losses, not too much should be read into those. As of course, Liverpool had many of their first team players taking part in either the Copa America or the African Cup of Nations. They of course had Firmino and Alisson Becker, who were they were in the Copa America the whole way. They won the tournament. And then they had players like Sadio Mane, Mo Salah playing in the African Cup of Nations. So because they've missed them, and let's be honest, they are some crucial players to Liverpool, they've lost these matches. However, I feel like not too much should be taken by that. Man City, on the other hand, they've had a better preseason than Liverpool. They did lose to Wolves. However, they did beat West Ham and a couple of teams in the Asia Cup. They beat the Yokohama Marinos and the Kitchi FC. Sorry if my pronunciation isn't correct. So yeah, like Liverpool, they also had players away in the summer. They of course had players like Aguero, Gabriel Jesus taking part in the Copa America. However, I feel that, and Riyad Mahrez in the African Cup of Nations where he won it with Algeria. But yeah, I feel like Manchester City, because they have that bigger squad depth, they don't feel, individual player losses as much as Liverpool. Because, I mean, they've got in essence, 2 world-class starting 11s in their squad. So they're better equipped if they have players, away or absent or injured. In terms of who's going to win the Community Shield, I personally, look, it could go either way. So I'm not going to make a prediction on that, but yeah, I'll let you know what you think. For me personally, Man City are probably the favourites going into it, as their squad is bigger, and I feel like Liverpool, the players like Firmino, Salah, Mane, Alisson, they're not quite up to match fitness yet, and yeah, that's why Man City are stronger. But I wouldn't rule Liverpool out, of course. I just hope this season both teams can have epic title challenges like last season. If we have a match in the Community Shield like we did in the Premier League in January, where Man City beat Liverpool 2-1, we're in for a thriller, because that was, even though it wasn't as high scoring as some other matches, but that 2-1 victory that Man City had over Liverpool, it was full of class. And when you saw that match, it was like it was played by 100 miles an hour by both teams. That was, of course, the only match Liverpool lost last season. Yeah, and imagine that, losing one match and not winning the league. So yeah, that's the only match they lost last season to Man City. And let's hope for another great title push. Liverpool, of course, coming into this season as European champions. That must be really, it must give them a lot of confidence boost, and that belief that they can win trophies. And also Klopp, of course, I think he's lost 6 finals in a row. So it was nice for him to get rid of that monkey off his back. Liverpool are in a lot of competitions, as are Man City, of course. And this is the first trophy available. Liverpool also have to, of course, play the European Super Cup against Chelsea. Then they also have to play the Club World Cup, as they're the European champions. And then they've got the League Cup, FA Cup, Champions League and the Premier League. So a lot of trophies that Liverpool are going for this season. And yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know if you think Man City or Liverpool, or if there'll be a different team this year in the title race. And I'd just like to, like I've said earlier, I'd like to look at the top 6 teams and see how if they've improved their team or not. I'll start with Arsenal. I'll do this in alphabetical order. So Arsenal, of course, the big news which was announced yesterday, they've confirmed the signing of Nicolas Pepe for a club record £72 million. This, of course, will be paid in installments, not in one go. Don't worry. So, yeah, they signed Pepe. I am very excited to see how he gets on. Personally, I've not seen him much myself, as I don't really watch the French league as much, but I've heard many good things. And their front three now of Pepe, Aubameyang, Lacazette, that is an amazing front three. So let's see how they perform. I feel like Unai Emery really needs to step it up this season. One thing for me about Arsenal that I would say is I don't see much activity in terms of defenders. I feel like that's a key point for Arsenal. But yeah, let's see. I mean, they did sign Saliba for 27 million. However, he's been loaned straight back to the club. So Arsenal won't even have him this season. Let's see if they're gonna spend any more money. I feel like with the Pepe signing, that's Wilfred Zaha now off the table as well. They of course also sold. Well, they didn't sell. They let go of Ramsey. I feel like that'd be a big blow as he was one of their star performers last season. But yeah, let's see how it goes. If I had to guess, I do think Arsenal will finish in the top 4 this season, and I feel like Unai Emery must if he wants to keep his job. We look at Chelsea now. Of course, they're going through the transfer ban, so they can't sign anyone in this summer or January. However, there was a loophole in the system, so they have signed Kovacic for 40 million. This was because they had loaned him with an agreement that that they can buy him, which was the way around this. So yeah, they've signed Kovacic. Of course, they also have Pulisic, who's come in. They did buy him in January. However, they loaned him straight back to Dortmund for 6 months. He's now in the squad, and he's really the Hazard replacement for Chelsea. He needs to, have a blinder if he's going to match the level anywhere near that of Eden Hazard. Of course, they did lose Hazard for an initial 88 million to Real Madrid. And they lost. They sold Morata for 58 million as well back to Atletico. Chelsea. They've lost their manager Sarri, and this is the first season under Frank Lampard, who's of course a club legend. Let's see if they give him time. If things don't start off well, or if they're a bit rocky. I feel like personally he should be given the first year, danger free of being sacked. In my opinion. He's not been able to spend anything. He's inherited a club that finished just about in the top 4 last season. So I'd give him that first year, until he's had a transfer window. I wouldn't sack him. But knowing Chelsea, I wouldn't be too sure if results go south. Then yeah, they might do. Next up, we look at Liverpool, and out of the top 6, Liverpool have had the quietest window. Their highest transfer this season has been so far a player called Van den Berg for 1.3 million. So yeah, they've signed no one. I do feel like they'd be making a mistake if they don't bring in at least one player or a forward player in my eyes. Of course, they've got Salah, Firmino, Mane. However, they've sold Danny Ings for 20 million, which I think is a great bit of business. And they've also lost Daniel Sturridge. So who's their backup? Like they've got Origi and then potentially Shaqiri on the wings, but I do feel like they need another forward player in case one of their top 3 strikers or wingers rather is injured. So yeah, nothing really in terms of transfer activity for Liverpool. We've got Man City, who also have a club record signing. They paid 62.8 million for Rodri. He's like the sort of like another backup to Fernandinho, another central midfielder. I feel like it was the only position that Man City could have strengthened on, so much needed. However, they've sold Fabian Delph. For me personally, it depends now really on Mendy. He needs to be fully fit the whole season. Otherwise, that may look like a bit of a poor sale, as Fabian Delph, of course, he done well when he came in in that left back position. They've also lost their captain Company, and they've not really bought a defender yet. So let's see where they go with that. I believe they're yet to pick a captain for Man City as well. If it was up to me, I'd probably give it to Kevin De Bruyne. And yeah, that's what I would do. I mean, yeah, you got Silva in that, but this is Silva's last season. And rather than having to change it again at the end of the season, I'd give it to a player like De Bruyne, who's got a few more years in him. We've got Manchester United. They've signed Wan-Bissaka for 50 million and Daniel James for 15 million. Once again, with Man United, Solskjaer, when he came in, he had that great run of form. He got the job and he went south. So let's see how United do this season. They've lost Herrera and Valencia, two veterans for them. So, I'm interested to see how Solskjaer will get on now. Will he be sacked by Christmas, as many are saying, if results aren't going his way, or will he be given the time? It's like the Frank Lampard situation. And because of this rockiness as well, that's why I believe that I don't think United will get top 4 this season. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. And finally, we've got Tottenham, who also broke their club record. They've signed Ndombele for 53.8 million. This was a bit of a refreshing signing for Tottenham, as of course last season in both transfer windows they signed no one. But yeah, they've added a quality player there. However, they've sold Trippier for 20 million to Atletico. I did not see that one coming. That was just a bit of a random transfer for me. But yeah, let's see how Tottenham do. I feel like Pochettino, I don't want to say, this is his last season, but they need to show signs of at least, progress that Pochettino would feel like, he wants to stay, even if the United job or another big club were to come for him. Looking at the big six transfers and what they've done, I still feel like Liverpool and Man City are going to be the two top dogs in this Premier League title race, even though Liverpool have bought no one. But, let's see how it goes. Yeah, they will be the top. In terms of the other four, if I had to pick, I would say Tottenham and Arsenal to get the top 4 places. With Chelsea, it's Frank Lampard's first season, hasn't been able to sign anyone, lost their star player in Eden Hazard. That's why I don't think they'll get top 4. I think top 6 will be a good achievement for Frank in his first season. Likewise with United, I just feel like, I don't know, the Pogba situation, the Lukaku situation, are they getting Dybala? Will it be a good signing or a swap? Yeah, there's a lot there. So I just believe with Arsenal, especially with the Pepe signing, and I mean, look, they were like, a point or two away from top 4 last season. If they had a horrible end to this campaign. So yeah, that's why I believe Arsenal will get that top 4 this season. They've been away from Champions League for 3 years now. This is their 3rd season in a row in Europa League, and they really do need that top 4, I believe, for Unai Emery to keep his job as well. I'd like to end the video there. Once again, we of course have the Community Shield this Sunday. For me, it's a trophy that counts, guys. I don't care what anyone says. It's a trophy. I call it the English Super Cup, and it counts, all right? If you have anything to say, any opinions, anything to share, please do leave a comment below. I do respond to as many, if not all, comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please do leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for future videos like this. Thank you very much.
Game, set, and match. Game, set, and